Hey guys, so welcome back. Let's begin with the development of our clinic management system. So, the first point that we had is storing the patient data. So, what I had suggested is that let's use an Excel file where we can store the patient details, the appointments that the patient would have, right? And also the history data of a patient. Let me quickly show the Excel file that I have created. Okay. So as you can see, I have divided my Excel in two sections. One is appointment card, where I'm actually capturing the details of the appointment. And second is the patient health details. So let's go to appointment card. As usual, I've captured the names, type of communication. Currently, we will be looking at email form of communication. Here, it can be mail or text as per the client convenience. Next is date of birth, the age, type of customers, whether they are a new customer or are they repeating. Then it's the treatment type that they are taking up. After that, we are capturing the appointment date and the time at which they are going to come, the next appointment date that has been given to them, and the time for same. As the clinic must be running a referral program, so here we are checking if the patient was referred by anybody else. If so, then we will be mentioning the name of the person by whom they were referred. Next is email ID, where we are capturing the email addresses where we would send the daily reminders for the appointment and also sending out the social engagement messages. Next is would the client like a reminder or if they would like to opt out the service. Last but not least, the prescription that the doctor has given during the each of the appointment dates. As you would notice here that the first name and the last name are repeating. That means how this Excel needs to get maintained is, for example, there is a new client that walks in today. So a new record would be created for this person and the prescription details would be captured. If the person has another appointment with the doctor, the next appointment date and time would be captured. Now, after a few days, when the patient comes for the next appointment, again a new record of the patient would be created. You can copy the details from the start as the birth date, age will not be changing. So you can capture those details from the start and add the appointment date for today, today's date when the person entered into the clinic, right? And capture the prescription. So this particular sheet will not have unique records. It will have repetitive entries just where we are tracking each and every appointment for our clients. Next, coming to our patient health details. Before any sort of treatment begins, it's very important to capture the history of the health of the patient, or rather, let's call it medical history. So here I'm capturing the patient history and there is no need of capturing any date here because the medical history was captured when first time the person had come, correct? So we anyways can track the first appointment date from this particular Excel file. So here you can extend more and more columns, and as and when the doctor wants to review, he or she can refer the whole sheet. Now, you must be wondering that why we are using an Excel file as compared to a database. As it's a bigger clinic, then using a database is a better option. But here, the client was just into the new journey of automation, or rather, they were moving from storing data onto physical forms to machines. So they wanted to take it extremely slow, and hence we started with Excel first. Also, they did not want to store their data on any of the cloud, and the staff they had was not well versed with how to use a database. Hence, in this tutorial, we are going to work and utilize the Excel. Okay, so our second thing is appointment reminder. Now, these sections where it is appointment reminder, send social mails to customers, send daily report to doctors, I realize that I can build one process for each because appointment reminder would be daily right? Where the patient would be reminded about their appointments with the doctor. Whereas if it is social mails that we need to send to customer, it may or may not be daily. So the frequency of both of these processes are different. Hence, I am segregating them into two different processes. The third thing is sending daily report to doctors. Again, this particular report has to be sent at the end of the day, whereas the appointment reminder that we are sending is at the start of the day. Now, again, the frequencies are different. Hence, I'm dividing them into three different processes. Okay, so now let's build our appointment reminder module. So I'm going to select a blank task. Let's say appointment reminder module. Send send reminders to patients for their appointments. Okay. Okay. So now, before we begin with our development, always check the activities section, and here check which all activities are available. So show developer, always check that because it has by default activities that UiPath is providing. The other one is show categories and show favorites, right? Now let's quickly jump into it. So first thing is we have an input which uses the Excel file. So let us take a look at it, that whether UiPath Studio X can read Excel. So here I have options of Excel process code, right? So it allows me to open an Excel file. Next is reading the range, export to CSV. All right, so these options are good. Now let's also quickly check under our developer option. What do we have? So this is app and web automation. Currently we need app integration. Let's check Excel options that we have here. Okay, so this is good. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I have created the customer file, right, and the config file already. So let me select that and paste it here. I'll be deleting the project notebook for now as I'm not going to utilize the same. Let me open my config file to see the details that we are capturing. Okay, all right. So I have divided it as key and value. So in the body, I have written that, greetings for the day you have an appointment with, and I have listed the name of the doctors. These are sample names. Again, address of the clinic. That's a very good element that we can add to the emails. We can also add Google Maps into the email body where a person can just click, get the directions, and reach the clinic. And second is the subject, right? Uh, let's go to our project, configure our notebook. Here, I am going to redirect it to my config file just to make sure that I have my config file handy while I'm utilizing my code. So let's pull in our first Excel process code because we are going to read from the Excel file itself. Okay, so I'm going to use an Excel file. So let's pull the activity here. Now I can redirect it to the customer data, which is our major input. Let's open it here. It says save the changes and create if it does not exist. I'm going to select uncheck create if it does not exist because in this scenario it always will. Next is save changes. For now, let's keep it enabled. I'll tell you why. Okay, so the goal of this module is to send reminder if the patient's appointment date or the next appointment date columns. Let's quickly go here. Either this column or this column have the dates for today. So let's manipulate this data. So I can see there is one patient for 26th June, which is today, and second patient here. So we need, if we run this automation, two patients would be sent the reminder. All right. So now let's hop back to our studio. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a filter so that I need to read less number of the records. Let's say filter over here. So I can search it. Yep. So within the range, I can add the filter. So now the source over here is that the appointment card. So this name I am getting from here, the appointment card. So let's say appointment card. All right. The column name that I want to pick up would be appointment date. Now, what I am going to do is that I'm going to say that this appointment date is equals to today. Just open it up again. Today, right? Which gives me today's date. And I am going to convert it to a string and match it to the format that I have here. So the format that I'm using here is DD triple M and just 2022. So I just have 22 at the end. So I am going to use the format as DD MMM and YY. All right. Okay. If you want to check what is the, when you configure today and what is the date that's getting returned, you can also quickly add a message box here and you can yourself just add today, yep, dot to string. And I'm going to say dd hyphen mmm hyphen YYY. Now this will let me know that whether the date format that I'm using is right or wrong. All right. Now after filtering, so I will get a list of email addresses, right? So what are we going to do with that? What we are going to do with them is send an email because the type of communication is email. So let's utilize our email activity here. Okay. Now, if I directly pull this activity, what will happen is it will send email only for the first record. But what we instead want to do is that for each of the filtered record, we want to send an email, right? So in Excel, there is something called as for each row. So yes, so now for each Excel row, send an email. So the patients that have appointment today, for each of them, send an individual email, correct? Okay. Now again, the range is the appointment card. Now let's go back to the place where I told you save the changes. So when I filter this, the filtered data will be saved and then we can directly access it. Okay. Save after each row? No. Does the sheet have headers? Yes, it does. Okay. So we are going to use Gmail for our communication. Now, in the to field, let us see current row and let's scroll down to email ID. Yes. Second is the subject. So now remember I had given it a notebook where I had configured the config file. Yes. Oh, okay. Let me close my config file. Let's save the data. Okay, awesome. So in the subject, I am going to select appointment today with. Okay. And again, I can actually open it in text. So appointment today with, and also highlight the name of the doctor with whom the appointment is. Okay. So that's done. Select value, again the text. Let me go to indicate from Excel. Yep. So you have an appointment with, then the name of the doctor. Yep. And then you add a signature, which is this. And last but not least, let's also add the clinic address so that it's easier for the clients to refer the data. Okay. Now, can you see this value for required activity argument? That means here there is an error or there are missing details. So let's select on this one. For SMTP, we need to configure that which server we need to utilize. So we gave the body, we gave the to, we gave the subject, but we have not specified what or which server are we using it. So for Gmail, by default, there is a port that we all use, and that number is 465. Okay. Now, again, let's configure the server. I'll open as text and I'll be writing smtp dot gmail dot com. Okay. And now, can you see that the error has gone through? Okay. Now, I also need to supply the email address that I am going to use. So, again, let me say text and it's Kalyani dot techgorgeous at gmail dot com. Okay. Now, for the password. Now, this password is not same as the regular password that we have for our Gmail logins. Okay. Instead, we have another option. All right. So what you need to do is log into Google. All right. See all settings. After logging into Gmail, you need to enable this forwarding and pop IMAP. So first, enable pop is enabled for all email. That's the first option. Then IMAP needs to be enabled. And please look at all these below options as well. I'm leaving the screen here so that you can take a look at the options that we have chosen. All right. So then what you need to do is manage your Google account. Here you need to go to security. If here you notice it has your password and then it says two-step verification. You need to activate this two-step verification. Then select on app passwords. Enter your own password first to verify yourself. Once done, select other. Name the particular application. So let's say it is Studio X. Generate the password. Now, do not share this password with anyone and copy this 16-digit password for yourself and keep it handy. All right. Once this is done, go back to your application, put the password as the 16-digit that we just got and save. That's it. Okay. So now before we move ahead, let's test if this much is working. Also, before running the process, let's quickly close the Excel files that we are utilizing. Okay, so now let's run this automation. As we had put the date format here, so now you can see the message box appearing and it says 26 June 2022 and the date format matches. Okay, we have one record, right? So now let's go to our email box and yep, we have it. Appointment with Dr. Kalyani Raval. It has the email contents that as we have chosen and it has picked up the email addresses provided. All right. Now, so what we have done is we have filtered only on the appointment today. Now let's filter down on the appointments. That's for the next appointment, if any of the next appointment falls today. So first, what we need to do is that since the file is already filtered, even if I try to apply another filter, I will get zero record. Hence, let's utilize filter again. Okay. Okay, I'll step out of the for each scope here because here the work is done. Now we are after the for each, now we are again continuing it. In filter, let's select the Excel file and it's again the appointment card. Okay, how filter works? If I do not put any column name, then by default it clears the filter. Whatever existing filters that we have, right? So let's say clear any existing filter and leave the column name as blank. So what it will do is it will remove the filters that we had prior. Now again, I would, uh, I'll again take this Control C and here I'm just going to paste it again. Okay, now instead of appointment date, I'm going to say next appointment date. I don't need to configure the filter because I just copied the filter from the top, right? And as you can evidently see, it says today.string dd mmyy. All right. Okay. And the next thing, again, the same item, repeat that for all the filtered records. Okay, this has not got pasted into right place. So let's select undo. I'm going to select here and paste it. So after the filter is done, for each row, for each current row, send out the email. Now I don't need to make any changes into this for each row. It's a reusable code and the content of the mail just stays same. Okay, so I'll close the Excel. All right, and let's roll. As I've not disabled the message box, I'm still getting it again. All right, now I can see one patient for appointment date with 26 June. Right now, filtering for the another patient for next appointment and on 26 June. So let's go to my email box. As we can see, I've got two emails. I'm just going to quickly refresh, and now it says three. So, yep, I've got first email that the initial one, and these two are just sent now. As you can see, it says 0 minutes ago, 0 minutes ago. Oh, okay. So that's it. Here we have configured a daily reminder module. Now, once this particular process is developed, what we need to do is publish it. All right. So just say next, next, and publish. When I publish, what happens is, let's quickly show you UiPath Assistant. Okay. Let me remove the recent. All right. So now can you see that it says appointment reminder module? All right. So as a developer, we'll be running the process from here, but we cannot expect our client to do the same. So instead, what we do is we give them UiPath Assistant, which comes by default when you install Studio X. All right. Again, I have configured my orchestrator here, and that's why I'm able to run all these processes. I will show you how to configure your orchestrator at the end of all three modules. Okay, so now we have built this module. Our development is completed. But what is not completed is the optimization section. So now can you see that the module is ending in 22 seconds? So our target should be to reduce the same and still deliver the same accuracy, right? Okay, now before we continue, I'm going to quickly disable this activity because now we know that um, what is the date format we are going to utilize. Okay. Another thing that I've realized is that let's put all this module into one group so it's easier to access. So there is something as group. All right. So I'm going to just first put this, okay, and move these activities one by one, or you can also move them together. Okay. So that's my group. Okay. I'm just going to disable this for now, and I am going to use another method where I'm going to use, instead of filtering my Excel sheet, I'm going to try if and else condition. So what I'm going to do is that for each row, I'm going to individually check if the appointment date or the next appointment date falls on today's date. Okay. So as we had used initially, let's use for each again and for each Excel row. Okay. So for the current row and in the range, again, the appointment card. Of course, it has headers, and let's pull our if condition. Okay. So what I'm going to say is that in the current row, if the appointment type, right, and let's open our condition builder, is equal to, let's select the value today. Okay. Let's save again. Most important thing is to have our date time today dot to string, to convert it to a format which is same as our Excel file. So I'm going to add my date format here. All right. Another column that we need to check here, we can again add it in this condition builder itself. So I would say, or let me copy the same thing here, and let's just say next appointment date. All right. I either you can directly edit it in Open Advanced Editor, else you can add the condition using this UI and using the conditional condition builder. So let's now save on save. Let's now click on save. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that if any of the patient has the appointment date or next appointment date today, then send them a reminder. Let's go down and let me get the SMTP here and paste it because the content remains exact same. Okay. Now notice that last run had completed in 22 seconds. Using this approach, let us see what's the time that the process completes in. So I've disabled the message box. So now it's directly going to work on sending the reminders. Okay. Can you see it says 8 seconds? So from 22 seconds, we actually came down to 8 seconds. Now let's quickly go and see if we have got emails. Yes, we have. I'm going to just refresh once. Right. So we have received an email 0 minutes ago, which is right now. And the date is 26th of June. So let me open our customer data just once to see what details we have. Yes, so the next appointment date is 26 June and the first appointment date is 1st July. Let's see, was there anything? Oh, yes, there is one more which is for 26 June. Yes, there is one for 26 June, but unfortunately, we did not clear the previous filters. So let's go back. Let's utilize filter, clear any existing filters just to make sure that no previous filters are getting utilized. Let me close our Excel. Okay. And I'm going to just run it again. as you can see that we have received two emails 0 minutes ago, 0 minutes ago. And hence the time taken is just 10 seconds as compared to the 22 seconds that we had. So we have completed our first module that we understood our use case. We stored our data in a correct format. We configured our config file in a way that the reusable data is stored correctly and the user will have access to it. We developed our module. We added a reusable code. Apart from that, what we have done is that after testing our code, we optimized it, right? So, yes, guys, this is the end to the first process. There are two more processes that we need to develop. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any queries or recommendations, please post them into the comment section.